Big game energy, Thursday, July 23rd. We are continuing our Why Your Favorite Team Won't Win the Super Bowl series. Today we are highlighting two more NFC South teams, the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We continue to await a decision from LeBron James. My biggest fear, James, is that we post this tomorrow and we have already woken up and everyone is reacting to the news. And as they're listening to this, they're like, these losers have no idea what happened.
Yeah, and they're like, really? I want to watch Carolina Panther video versus who LeBron James went to? Yeah, we're screwed whenever this happens.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to bet that we will be able to discuss this on next episode on Sunday. But LeBron James really is taking his sweet time, and you saw the fake post, right, from the Heat?
I did, yeah.
Does that sway you into thinking that's where it's going to be now, or did you think that was just kind of like
I thought
a mistake?
I thought that was a mistake, but better odds, the Heat are the favorite. They're plus, I forget, back earlier it was like 150. Now it's like plus 105. And I'm like, what do we not know?
Yeah, I saw one thing that said he's delaying his decision because he's waiting to see if a team that wants to sign him can also trade for Anthony Davis and or Kyrie Irving. Yeah. I also saw another one that I really hope this is true, that he is mad at Adam Silver for pressuring him to make the decision. So was petty and had the decision made last week, but him and his team said, nope, gonna make y'all wait because you're being pushy and I want to do it on my time. Yeah. I hope that's true because I can respect that level of petty from anyone, and I think that's really funny.
For Adam Silver to be telling LeBron, hey, man, I need you to pick a team so I can set the schedule. Adam Silver, you're still 3 months away from the NBA season starting. I'm pretty sure LeBron will pick by then, and you can shift your little calendar. Look, the NFL flexes games when the season's already set. You can do the same.
Yeah.
Do not
you
work.
Should do the same. Yeah, but I do. In his defense, I do think they only set like half of the season primetime game, and then they filter in the second half as they go. But even then, still, he just wants to set his Christmas Day games. He wants whatever team LeBron signs with to be going back to LA on Christmas Day. That's what Adam Silver's waiting for. That's the whole schedule debacle. But I say in terms of, and I'm not the biggest LeBron guy, but in terms of LeBron versus Adam Silver, you know where I stand on that one. We're siding with LeBron 10 times out of 10, twice on Sunday. Screw Adam Silver, the biggest spineless coward commissioner in all of sports. Give me Goodell. Yeah. Give me Manfred. Hell, give me Kathy Englebright of the WNBA, who also sucks as a commissioner. Give me her over Adam Silver also.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Adam Silver done that to himself, man. But yeah, come on, LeBron. Let's get this over with. But I will say, I know LeBron gets a pass because don't James, but after this, hey, Adam Silver going to be like, everyone needs to have a decision made by July 8th. Mm-hmm. You will figure it out.
Yeah, he's going to put something in like no max contracts can be signed after this date because we have to set the schedule.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
But I might have just given him a really good idea. I feel like that would work. No max contracts after this date.
That will work. And again, just to be devil's advocate over LeBron, you did get bounced in like the second round. Like you've had enough time.
Yeah. All righty. James, continuing with our series, today we are going to start with the Carolina Panthers.
Oh.
The Carolina Panthers are finally trending up after all of these years of badness, all these years of turmoil, but they still won't win the Super Bowl in 2027. Last year in 2025, they started 4-3, marking the first time they were above 500 since 2021. A lot of bad years in Carolina, but Ted McMillan won Rookie of the Year, and they finished 8-9, but still won the NFC South for the first time since Cam Newton was the MVP in 2015. Woo. Now, they unfortunately lost a very tight and competitive game against the Rams in the first round of the playoffs, but they go into the offseason. They make big splash signings, signing edge Jalen Phillips to a 4-year, $120 million contract. They signed Devin Lloyd to a 3-year, $42 million contract. Both these guys are going to help overhaul a defense that needs a ton of help. And they drafted offensive lineman Monroe Freeling in the first round, adding him to a unit that is pretty good on paper for the Panthers with Ike Ekwonu and Robert Hunt, among others, on that offensive line. An offensive line that's pretty solid. But, James, that being said, Reason number one why the Panthers will not win the Super Bowl is Bryce Young. Bryce Young not being able to reach new heights.
Oh, gosh, Spence, man, don't do that to my boy. Roll Tide. But you're right, Spence. That is really a good number one reason why the Panthers won't win the Super Bowl. Because if you look at what Bryce Young, yes, did he have some sparks last year versus the Rams twice, versus the Falcons? Yes. But if you look at last year's stats, the Panthers need Bryce Young to be a game changer, not a game manager. I don't need 15 for 20 for 160 yards. I don't need 11 for 20 for 102 yards. Mind you, he was winning some of these games with these stats. So ugly. And that is why he needs to step up. Now, yes, the play calling is now gone. It changed during the season from the head coach to the OC, and now he's going to be the play caller. So hopefully maybe they pick up something. But I know we'll talk about reasons why we also agree they won't win the Super Bowl later in this video. But again, Bryce Young has to step up and just be the guy, be a number one draft pick. I'm not going to debate him versus CJ Stroud and who's having the better career, because they both need to step up. Now, yes, Bryce Young has looked just a smidge better as of late. I'm not going to say he was the best pick out of the two, but for Bryce Young now, who you won a division 8 and 9, it's nothing to be happy about. So we need you to step up.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young, this is definitely the make or break year for him. I think when he is going into a year where he's playing on the last year of his contract, his fifth year option, right? He's due for a big payday. The Panthers are right in not having given him that money because he has not proven anything despite going to the playoffs last year and winning the weakest division in the entire NFL. The Panthers are not in a spot where you truly can feel like they have it set up for the future. Now, they got some good pieces there, and we'll talk about a few of them. But I mentioned earlier, Ted McMillan won Rookie of the Year. Bryce Young, they have a good offensive line in front of him. I think you have enabled him enough. Maybe you could add a little bit more, but they've enabled him enough that he should succeed and be better this year. I don't want to hear games with 100-yard passing yardages anymore. We need to be averaging at least 220 yards a game, a pretty standard and reasonable number to ask for someone that is a franchise quarterback drafted first overall, looking for a big payday in 2027 after the season. So, Bryce Young, you got to step up, and I know you're only 5'9" on a good day, but you got to reach some new heights in 2026 for the Panthers to contend, and I just don't see it happening. Reason number 2, so they won the NFC South in 2025. Congratulations, Panthers. You are now getting the third hardest schedule in the entire NFL, according to Sharp Football Analysis. That's what happens when you win the NFC South and you're 8 and 9. You're going to go into the season playing a first-place schedule, and you don't really have a first-place roster. It's kind of like a wink-wink first-place roster.
Yeah, no, I looked at this schedule, Spence. Mind you, could they start the season off 2-2? Maybe. But then once you go
2-2, you better stop the presses. They're 2-2.
2-2. But like you look at their schedule after they got an early bye week, so then it's a 13-game gruesome schedule. You go to Philly, Bucks, Packers, Broncos, Saints, of course, division games, they're always tough. Then you go Baltimore, Bucks, at Minnesota, Saints, and then you finish the season, you think you might get some help. Bengals, at Steelers, versus the Seahawks. And then I guess you might get a flex game. You might get a lucky game against the Falcons, last game of the year. I'm just saying, Spence, for a team that won 7 of their 8 games last year within one score, to get the third toughest schedule, and we talked about this is a make or break season for Bryce. This is looking a little rough, and we've seen the writing on the wall that this may not be the best season, and that's why they're not going to even win this division.
Yeah, can't win the Super Bowl if you can't even win the NFC South. Yeah. And reason number 3, Ted McMillan is a really good wide receiver. I think he's going to have a very long, successful career. But outside of that, the Carolina Panthers have approximately 0 certifiable offensive weapons. I know they've gotten good production in times from Chuba Hubbard, very underrated guy, and I think he could be a good running back for most teams, but I don't think he's a true workhorse running back like they're going to set him up to be. They also have Jonathan Brooks, who maybe he's somehow healthy after yet another knee injury and another full season off, but whatever they get from Jonathan Brooks is a plus at this point. It's a sunken cost in my eyes. Ted McMillan, great. Wide receiver, love it. But after that, Jalen Coker. Can we see a full season of production like we saw from him in the playoffs against the Rams?
Right.
Remains to be seen. Xavier Legette, yeah, he talks funny. That's really all he has to offer your football team at this point. He's cool. He's funny. He's interesting. He's not really that good at football. And then Tommy Trimble, I've seen this guy in the league for 5 or 6 years now, and he is the textbook definition of a jag at the tight end position. Now, I like what they have at the offensive line, but none of those weapons are striking fear into defensive coordinators' minds. I think this is going to be an easy team to prep for. And again, Bryce Young is not the type of quarterback that can lift up mediocre weapons like the Panthers have. So, honestly, combining reason one for us with Bryce Young and this reason right here with them having 0 weapons, I just don't see their way to contend because of how bad this offense could be.
Yeah, definitely on paper, I'm pretty sure I would probably pick the Browns receiving core over some of these guys because
at least they've got some first-round talents there.
Yeah, like you mentioned it, like Xavier Legette and Coker. Yeah, we've seen hits here and there, but just nothing solidified. When you're trying to win a Super Bowl, you need a wide receiver 1 and 2. You need a workhorse running back. And they lost a guy who was catching out of the backfield and doing that with Rico Dowdle going to the Steelers. And just seeing this team, again, it's just not that impressive. And you look at what last year, even with Rico Dowdle, they averaged 18.5 points a game last year. So, again, we talk about Bryce Young exceeding new heights, picking up mediocre talent. I don't see a higher ceiling than 18.5 points.
Yeah. But I will say, we know we're being pessimistic about the Panthers in this video. They did end up with one of my favorite wide receivers in the entire draft, Chris Brazell out of Tennessee. I think they could have possibly gotten something there. But on paper right now, he's a rookie. I am not going to count him towards this. We're going to have to see it before we can believe it when it comes to these offensive weapons there in Carolina. So for 2026, James, I've got the Panthers going 8-9 yet again, but this time I have them missing the playoffs as any team that finishes 8-9 should.
Yeah. No, for me, as much as I want to say, Roll Tide and Bryce Young and just want to rub it in your face, Spence, I got this team going 6-11 on this schedule, and they're probably going to be the worst team in this division. I have the Saints over them in the division.
Wow. Y'all let us know in the comments, can Bryce Young take that next step? Who will emerge outside of Ted McMillan for the Panthers, if anyone can? And can they somehow overcome a tough schedule to somehow make it to the playoffs? Y'all let us know, and we'll see you next time. All right. Now, moving on to our next team, James, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Bucs.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers choked away their season last year, and it won't be any better this season because they cannot win the Super Bowl next season. They started hot last year at 6-2. Baker Mayfield was in MVP conversations. Things were going great. Emeka Egbuka had busted on the scene, was looking like the runaway rookie of the year, and then they crashed and burned, missing the playoffs entirely after coming down to the final week of the season, and they saw the Panthers go on and win the division. So they made some big changes in the offseason. They hired their 4th OC in 4 years after they fired Josh Grizzard and hired Zach Robinson of the former division rival Atlanta Falcons. Mike Evans and Jamel Dean gone in free agency to the 49ers and Steelers, respectively. Long-time, all-time great Tampa Bay Buccaneer linebacker Levante David retires after a very long and successful career. So what did they do to fix these holes that were left by these guys retiring and leaving in free agency? The Buccaneers decided to sign a bunch of guys to 1-year contracts. Guys like Al-Quadin Muhammad, linebacker Alex Anzalone, Kenneth Gainwell, and Ashawn Robinson all inked to 1-year deals to kind of patch the holes on that defense for the season. Now, they did make a very great selection in the draft, landing what many would argue was the steal of the first round when they drafted Reuben Bain Jr. at 15 overall, a guy that many had going in the top 5 for much of the college football season. So, all of that to say, the reason number one why the Bucs will not win the Super Bowl this year is that Baker Mayfield amidst all the contract drama coming off of a down season, which he played injured, he regresses back to the form that we saw at the end of his tenure in Cleveland and for shades in Carolina. I think with this contract looming over him, James, I think he could be in for a long year.
Woo, man, doing that to Baker, man. We always call him one of the boys because he always finds a way to get through. But, man, when you go through 4 OCs, it's going to start catching up. I know I'll be a little biased, and I don't say that about my guy Jalen Hurts on the Eagles side of things. But everyone else, it is tough, man. You go through a new OC every year. Heck, you look at the last – you mentioned it. They won 2 of the last, 9 games to finish the season, and you beat the Panthers the final game of the year, and you still didn't even – win the division, and you didn't make the playoffs. So it was like a double slap in the face. Baker, I will say, when he signed with the Bucs, we loved it. We loved how everything was. We thought this was a good fit. He emerged very quickly, and I just hope this year he can stay healthy. I know he can fight through all the pain, but he's got to step up, because you look at some of these games. Spence last year, he was against the Rams, 9 of 19 for 41 yards. With the Bills, he was 16 for 28 for 173. Panthers the first time, 145 yards. Saints, 122 yards. So he needs to step up, and having a new OC hopefully changes things. But if you think about who they got, and you mentioned it from the Falcons, Robinson, they've been pretty mediocre for the last 5 years. And with
despite having a ton of talent.
And I would say we picked the Falcons' talent over the Bucs' talent. Might be a rude awakening.
Yeah, pretty comfortably. I think Zach Robinson was doing less with more in Atlanta, and now he's going to be asked a tall order to resurrect a Buccaneers offense that really, it's got some good weapons. Bucky Irving, Emeka Ibuka, Chris Godwin, if we can get him back to pre-injury form somehow.
Ooh, right.
Good offensive line there, but Baker Mayfield, I think he just left such a sour taste in my mouth. Sure, maybe he was hurt last year playing through injury, but unless he was truly injured to the point where it was messing with his psyche and his decision making, there was a lot more wrong than him just being injured. That offense was in complete disarray for much of the season, should have been more successful. And that leads me to number 2. The number 2 reason Todd Bowles is, and has always been in his coaching career, a mediocre coach. Now, I know he was anointed after Bruce Arians left the job after he retired, after winning a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. But we are not going to allow Todd Bowles to ride the coattails of that success any longer. This guy is in his final season as head coach and as the Buccaneers coach. And, James, I lost all respect for this guy whenever he came out to the press and admitted last year that he didn't understand the new kickoff rules. So he was just having his kicker kick it out of the back of the end zone every single time, putting the opposing team on the 35-yard line. I get it if you don't like the new kickoff rules, that's a completely different discussion. They are what they are. So if you don't know the rules and you're the NFL head coach and you continually set your defense up for failure, giving the offense an extra 10 yards or so for no reason, you are not a good coach. You are failing your team. And the fact that they brought him back and they just think getting rid of their 4th OC in 4 years is going to be what fixes this team is asinine to me. Why is Todd Bowles still here? The Buccaneers have zero chance of winning anything as long as he is their head coach.
Yeah, you mentioned it. He's been mediocre. His record with this team is 35-33. Now, yes, we can joke about his tenure with the Jets going to be in 24-40, and we can all say, yeah, the Jets always suck, so he'll always suck. But again, bringing up what we brought up with Zach Robinson with more talent, Todd Bowles did that with the Bucs, and he's had more talent. And for him just to be a smidge above 500, it's just not going to cut it. And I guess the only reason why he even makes it, Spence, and we joke about it, and we didn't want to do it in this series, is because of his division. Because you can win this division 8-9, and that's pathetic. And I know some people have rules about, or they have their thoughts about changing the playoff structure. Just because you win your division doesn't mean you should get in. That's another topic for another day. But I do believe it's time for him to move on. I don't think he's the right guy in the locker room. Of course, yeah, was he a great part of the defense side of things when they won the Super Bowl? Yeah. But your defense, again, has not been that level since. So it's always those things. Coordinators should just stick to being coordinators. and find the people that can do head coaching. Now, I know when we post these clips, Spence, you know what's going to happen because we all think Todd Bowles should be fired. And guess what we're about to get? You just saying that because he's a black man? Yo.
Hey, my head coach is a black man, and I love D'Amico Ryans. He's handsome. He's stunning. He has nothing to do with that. Todd Bowles has a career of being grossly mediocre. And his defense is a big part of that. And that leads me to reason number 3. Our final reason is that this is a team that on defense, nice front 7, but that secondary looks very weak. And at best, it's very unproven, right? They let Jamel Dean walk in free agency. He's now a Pittsburgh Steeler, right? So now you're looking on the outside, and they're going to be relying heavily on Zion McCollum to bounce back after what was his worst year as a pro. He was a 2022 draft selection. He had his worst year as a pro last year in 2025, and it all culminated. He had busted coverages, blown assignments, and had ended it with a season-ending injury that knocked him out for the rest of the season. So he has to bounce back from that and be someone that they heavily rely on. Other options for them in the secondary, Benjamin Morrison, he's already dealing with injuries. This is just a team on paper in the cornerback room. I just see these guys giving up 400, 500, 600 passing yards a game because who are they going to stop? Antoine Winfield Jr. is really the only name of substance when you look at them on paper, and he's in what year now? He's getting up there, and his play has never really been elite since the year that they went to the Super Bowl. I don't know. On paper, the secondary seems like I want to draft every single wide receiver that's playing the Buccaneers that week.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm listening to you, Mr. Fantasy, on that, and that's probably what I will do because last year's team, even again, we hope Ruben Bain, we love him. Hopefully he'll fix some of those problems, but it's not an immediate fix. This last year team allowed 4,049 yards, 7.6 catch net per attempt, allowed 30 passing TDs, and then an average of 240 yards a game. It's just not going to cut it. And where if you can't, and again, if the Bucs defense can't keep up or slow anyone down, we talk about again is going back to the Zach Robinson doing more with less. How are they going to keep up?
Yeah, I just don't see it happening. So for me, James, I've got the Buccaneers going 6-11 this year. I think there's enough talent there on both sides of the ball in the front 7 and some of their weapons on offense. I think they'll string together some wins. I don't think they're going to be a complete rollover and die team, but because of the talent that's there, it will be enough of a disappointing season that Todd Bowles will be fired, and potentially they could move on from Baker Mayfield as he still doesn't have a contract. He's going to be asking for a contract that's 3 years, $160 million over the life of the contract. That's $55 million a year for that guy. Yeah. And I'm a Baker guy. We love the dog mentality of him, but is he really worth $55 million a year like he's going to be asking for when the franchise tag is going to be somewhere in the $50 million range next year?
It's weird that we're talking about how the Bucs, I do believe they will regress. But I feel confident somehow they'll go 9-8. They'll still fire Todd Bowles because they'll get eliminated in the wild card round. And then it's just, what do you do with this team? You got Chris Godwin, who we hope recovers, but hasn't really been healthy the last 2 seasons. Does he go? You mentioned, does this team mid during the season, they trade Antoine Winfield just to pick up some draft capital? Because again, you're going to have to recoup a young team and hope. And I don't think they'll do this crazy thing and trade worse. But again, this team is on the verge of, they don't have a lot of superstar power in my eye. A lot of, I would say, running back by committee, receiver by committee. We do believe Emeka will emerge. They need people on this team, and I just don't think they'll win the Super Bowl this year.
I'm right with you there. The Buccaneers will not win the Super Bowl this year, but y'all let us know if y'all disagree. Can Baker Mayfield bounce back from a disappointing year? Is Todd Bowles better than we're making him out to be, and can he contend in the NFC? Who's going to emerge in this secondary, and will they be able to hold it down in the loss of guys like Jamel Dean? Y'all let us know in the comments. All righty, James, let's finish up. We got a little bit of time for No Huddle.
Definitely, man. We're going to finish this real quick, man. Spence, did you know there are 19 NFL franchises that have a winning record above 500? Can you name the 19 teams right now?
Hang on, back that one up for me.
There are 19 teams that have a career winning percentage above 500%.
Okay.
Can you name the 19 teams?
God,
Right
dude,
now.
bro. We
Th-
were
this
going to
is-
actually finish on time. We're going to be here forever now.
No, you'll get through like the
19? James.
What, dude? As soon as you do it, you'll be like, fine. It's just start rambling.
All right, I'm just going to go by division. I'm just going to name them, all right?
No, don't do that.
I'm literally just going to go by division. There's way too many to make.
No,
You're going to
trust
make me
me.
guess 19, James?
Dude, you'll be fine. You got
All right, here we go. How about the Seahawks?
yes. 1,
49ers,
2,
Rams,
3.
the Saints,
No,
Falcons,
no,
Buccaneers,
no,
Panthers,
no.
Eagles,
4,
Cowboys,
5,
Packers,
6,
Chiefs,
7,
Broncos,
8,
Chargers,
9,
Colts,
10.
Jaguars.
No.
Okay. Patriots,
11.
Bills,
No.
Dolphins,
12.
Steelers,
13.
Ravens,
14.
Bengals?
No.
Definitely not the Browns. Okay, let me back up.
Oh, you say that. Browns have a 503 career winning
Oh,
record.
that is disgusting. How is that possible? Jim Brown carrying that franchise. Hey, hot take, James. That ends this year. They're going below 500.
It ends this year. They will go below.
Okay, so that's 50. So I'm missing 4. So there's 4
Let's see.
teams there. How about the Giants? I skipped the Giants.
Yep, that's one of them.
Okay. Okay, if the Browns did. How about the Bears?
Yep, 17,
Raiders?
18.
Dolphins?
You named them already.
That's what I was like. Did I say them? I thought I did. Okay. So I'm missing one.
I feel like I think you have one team left, but I feel like you did not name this one team. So I feel like there's 2 left for you.
Which one are you thinking I didn't say?
You're an owner.
No, I said them. I said the
Okay,
Packers.
you did them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hopefully we'll check the transcript.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully. Okay, so there's one team left then.
I looked at the Packers and I said the Packers. I was
Okay,
going division by division.
Yeah, so there's one team. They have a career winning percentage of 5.
Okay.
NFC team.
NFC team. Man, the Commanders?
No.
The Vikings?
Yes, there's your
Wow.
19th team. Wasn't that bad, man? You knocked
I
it
guess
out
the
pretty
Vikings didn't have too many years where they cratered that I can think of off the top of my head.
good. Yeah. All right, Spence, man. Hey, next up, the 3 teams with the longest playoff drought. Obviously, Miami's got 25 years. The Raiders have got 23 years, and the Jets have 15 years. Out of those 3 teams, which team has the best chance of winning the playoffs this year?
Which between the Dolphins, the Raiders, and the Jets in 2026? Holy cow, that's awful. Okay, I'll say this. I'm going to go with the Raiders simply because I'm a Fernando guy. That's it. That's going to be it. I don't believe in anything that the Jets got going on, even a little bit. The Dolphins, maybe Malik Willis can surprise something. Jeff Hafley, cool.
Yeah.
I think they're going to the tank. I think they want a high draft pick. Maybe the Raiders could catch lightning in a bottle. If they start Fernando day 1 over Kirk Cousins, maybe.
Maybe.
But, none of those 3 are ending the streak this year. Come on. That's crazy.
So we're just going to add 26, 24, and 16. All right.
Yeah, no chance.
All right, Spence, man. Last one. All right, I got groups of sporting events that you can watch. Group A and Group B. In Group A, we have FIFA. We have college football playoffs. We have the NBA playoffs. We have the WNBA finals. And we have the Masters. Versus Group B, the NFL playoffs, MLB postseason, March Madness, Stanley Cup playoffs, and the finale, the Kentucky Derby.
There's literally, I'm a football guy. That was already going to be tough for me to beat. But you know me, James. I'm very clear on what I think the top 2 sporting events every year are. The Super Bowl and March Madness.
Yep.
And on the right side, I get those 2. I don't need to know anything about the rest of them. Yeah, it would suck for me not to have the NBA Finals, and it would suck not to be able to watch the Masters or the World Cup, but that also only comes every 4 years. I have to have NFL playoffs, and I have to have March Madness. And it would suck also not having college football playoff, but, I mean, shoot. At least I'm not going to have to watch what in the future is going to be a 1 seed demolishing a 16 seed by 70 points on a December afternoon.
No, I'm with you, man. I love Group B. That's probably the one I would go pick. easily, not even a breath of doubt. And just to stir things in the pot, who the f is going to watch the WNBA finals?
Yeah, I just don't even put that one on there. Like, that made me want to pick it less. Unless Caitlin Clark gets there.
Hey, unless the Indiana Fever.
Unless our Indiana Fever, we're lifelong fans since 2023.
Yeah, hey, we got shirts and jerseys. We are ready for when the Fever win the finals. You'll be hearing from us.
That's right. All righty, James. Good stuff tonight. We will be back next week. We'll be continuing our why they won't win the Super Bowl this season.
Who are we doing next week?
We are moving to the NFC East. We're going to be talking about your Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. That should be a fun one. And then hopefully, again, we have LeBron James make a decision, and we can talk about that too.
Hopefully.
If he hasn't made a decision by our next episode, I'm going to personally have to have beef with LeBron James for the rest of his career. But
I'm with you.
For James, I'm Spencer. This has been Big Game Energy. We will see y'all next time. Till then, y'all take it easy.